Talks Retail Fast 5. Today's episode is brought to you in partnership with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group, Avalara, Miracle, Own It AI, and Sezzle. Ranked in the top 10% of all podcasts globally and currently ranked the #1 podcast in all of retail by FeedSpot, the Retail Fast 5 is the podcast that we hope makes you feel a little smarter, but most importantly, a little happier each week too. And the Fast 5 is just one of the many great podcasts you can find from OmniTalk Retail alongside our Retail Daily Minute, which brings you a curated selection of the most important retail headlines every morning, and our Retail Technology Spotlight podcast series, which goes deep each week on the latest retail technology trends. Today is June 12th, 2024. I'm your host, Ann Mazinga.
And I'm still Chris Walton.
And we are here once again live from Commerce Next in New York to discuss and debate the most important headlines from the past week. We are at yet another location.
I know. I woke up today and I'm like, it's Wednesday? It's Wednesday. What time zone am I in? What city am I in? Barcelona. Came back from Barcelona on Friday. We're in New York on Monday. We're at the Commerce Next show. It's been a great show.
Yeah, I mean, really great content and people so far. We just released a ton of interviews, so check those out on LinkedIn. We'll be putting those on our YouTube channel, on our podcast channel, in the few short hours or days to follow here.
Right.
Lots of great interviews from the likes of Sephora. We had Amber Turley, our OmniStar, on.
Yes, we did.
We had Mara from Saks Off Fifth.
Saks Off Fifth, Chief Brand Officer, yes.
Chief Brand Officer. We had Tractor Supply Company, Rick Lockton on. We had Chris Hansen from Sally Beauty Supply.
Noam Paransky. We ended the day with Noam Paransky. Chief Digital Officer at Tapestry, right? Yes, Tapestry.
Yes. So many great interviews. And we got to also talk to Payman from Own It, where we are today. And that was a fantastic conversation. Those guys have just been blowing this conference out of the water.
They have. They had a cool demo that they showed at a breakfast yesterday that was packed house. We're going to put that video out on LinkedIn so you could get a really good taste of what it is that Own It AI does. And thanks again to them for all their help and support of our work here at this show. We wouldn't be here without them. And can't say enough about them and their technology too. And so I'm excited about this show. I think today's going to be a really fun show.
I do too.
Should we get to it?
Let's get to it.
All right. So today we've got news on TJ Maxx asking its store associates to wear body cameras, Tesco launching an online marketplace, Ikea remodeling remote work with paid positions for an actual Roblox store, something we've already talked about this morning, believe it or not.
Yes.
And Starbucks launching its own production house. But we begin today with news so big out of Walmart, we just couldn't keep it on the shelf. The digital shelf, that is.
Zinger, a real zinger, they call those, Chris. Headline number 1, Walmart plans to bring its electronic shelf labels to thousands of its stores. According to Retail Dive, Walmart plans to install electronic shelf labels in 2,300 stores by 2026, the company announced just last week on Thursday via press release. Digital shelf labels developed by Fusion Group, Walmart says, allow it to update prices at the shelf using a mobile app, reducing the need to walk around the store to change paper tags by hand. And giving us more time to support customers in the store. In addition, the tag's Stock to Light and Pick to Light feature will allow associates to flash an LED light on the shelf tag using their mobile device, signaling locations that require attention, and guide store associates directly to the products needed for online orders, speeding up the picking process.
Got to speed up that process.
Improving order accuracy. We have a video of this technology live on our YouTube channel. Just a quick drop.
Multiple videos, right?
Multiple videos, but especially the Kavanaugh's Fusion Group video, which you can see the complete process of how this works with all its parts and pieces. But Chris, what do you think about this big announcement of the rollout of these to 2,300 stores?
Yeah, and I've been waiting all 24 hours since we picked these headlines to say this. I have one word that summarizes my thoughts on this, and I think it's time I bring that word back, Ann. And do you know what it is? It's chimichanga, and chimichanga. Let's put this into perspective. 2,300 stores.
Chimichangas or this story?
Chimichanga,
Oh boy.
2,300 stores.
Yep.
That is effectively half of Walmart's U.S. store fleet.
Yes.
That's insane. In now let's go back in time. April of last year, Walmart announced they were putting into ESLs into 500 stores, Yep. Now here we are, one later, half the chain.
Yeah.
Why is that, right? Well, it's because Walmart gets it. They understand the value of it beyond just reducing price changes, which is how so many retailers are still evaluating the ROI on doing them. So that's why they have the call-outs to pick to light and stock to light in their press release, which makes a ton of sense. And the other part, it's also a platform for retail media.
Yes.
You can change prices. You can do lots of different things. But most important to me, the one thing I've said long and hard for many, many years now is it allows you to be mark to market with your online business, which is something that is really important in the online ongoing battle with Amazon as well. I don't think that can be understated. There's no longer the lag time in changing your price in response to digital competition. So I love it. Deep fry it, put it in some salsa, and it's great.
Oh boy, I can still not get on board with chimichanga. But I think you did a great job recapping. One more thing I'd add to that list that, when we were talking with Fusion Group back at Shop Talk Europe last week, one thing that they are adding to this list that is another benefit of doing this is the ability to prevent things like food waste. They're really going in hard on how they can be more sustainable, how grocers can be more sustainable, and how customers can be making better choices based on some of the details that they can include in the electronic shelf labels, which isn't a big thing. That doesn't hit the top goals right now because it's not directly talking about revenue or return on investment. But I think that's another advantage that we'll continue to see build, especially as Europe deploys this and puts a greater focus on it.
100%, great point. And Oliver Chen mentioned Walmart's use of computer vision today. That's another point of this. You have the computer vision looking into the shelves too, so you can align demand to supply with price changes in real time, and also look at sustainability angles too when you coordinate all that information. So it's great. All right, headline number 2. This one is what I would call spicy, and spicy is the flavor of today's podcast. This one's a spicy chimichanga. Workers at TJ Maxx and Marshalls are wearing police-like body cameras. According to CNN, retail giant TJX, the parent company of TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods, said it's equipping some store employees with body cameras to thwart shoplifting and keep customers and employees safe. TJX Finance Chief John Klingler disclosed the body camera initiative. I think I said Klingler. It's Klinger. Disclosed the body camera initiative on an earnings call last month, saying, quote, "It's almost like a de-escalation where people are less likely to do something when they're being videotaped," end quote. The TJX workers who wear the cameras undergo, quote, "thorough training on how to use the cameras effectively in their roles," end quote, a TJX spokesperson said. And the company only shares video footage upon law enforcement request or in response to a subpoena. Oh my God. It goes on. Body cameras are just one of the many ways that we work to support a safe store environment. Key being safe. The TJX spokesperson also said, all right, Ann, a lot there.
Yes.
It's important to read that because there are a lot of layers to this headline. This is also, lucky for you, the A&M Put You on the Spot question of the week.
Is it lucky?
Yes. I
you
think
only had one week of jet lag when we had to record this last week. Now I have 2 weeks in of back-to-back conferences and jet lag.
I may or may not have talked to the A&M team and made sure that they specifically gave you this question.
Okay.
But here it is, Ann.
All right.
And I quote, "The inverse of trying to solve for retail thieves can often be the negative experience for your actual retail customers. Do you think body cameras introduce a new level of discomfort and privacy concerns for customers that would deter them from shopping at TJ Maxx?" End quote.
I really don't know that as a customer you're going to see this as much as you are from the associates. I am baffled by this.
Are you?
You're already having a hard time hiring people in stores like this, and now you want them, some companies give you hey, come work here, you get a free iPhone.
Right.
You're going to incentivize people to work at TJ Maxx by saying, you get your very own body camera. Doesn't that make you excited to work in a place where body cameras are part of your, that's your flair?
Nope.
No. So, and also, I think the other underlying thing here that doesn't get discussed is, also, we don't trust you, potentially. As an associate, you're going to be wearing a body camera, and so they're trying to prevent people or assuming that associates might be stealing things in the back room. I think as if the retail associate experience right now isn't challenging enough, now they're going to add things like a body camera. Why they chose this to go forward with, I just cannot understand. especially in a place like TJ Maxx and, that's already got the snaking like checkout line. Like, why couldn't you just do controlled entry and exit? That seems to me like a much better approach to just test that you already have in place. Like, funnel those people from the checkout line directly out the door and have somebody checking there. Or like, there's so many things that I think could have been a better first step than this.
I love that. I love what you said. I 100% agree with you. And I think to answer the question with A&M too, even if you have a bad customer experience, ultimately it leads to if you have a bad employee experience, ultimately it leads to a bad customer experience too.
Right.
So it kind of goes hand in hand. But the point I love how you brought up controlled entry and exits, because what this story got me thinking about, and the word that I was keying in on in the headline read was safety, right? Like, if we are so concerned about our safety for our employees and our customers, is this the best length to go to? And so it got me thinking, Ann, like, where is safety a really important concern? And for me, it's on the airlines, right? Mm-hmm. And in airlines, we have to show our driver's license to board a plane.
Yep.
We had to show our faces to board the plane to Barcelona last week as well, right? And so, and the chances of us getting hurt on a plane, and my father died on a plane crash, so take this with a grain of salt, are less than probably getting hurt working in a store.
Yeah.
And yet, we don't take the same precautions in a store. So yes, I think it opens up the question of, are there better ways? Are we as a society at a point where if this is becoming a problem, where if safety is the real issue here, if that is really what you're trying to prevent, and not just shrink, but safety, are we at a point where we need to screen at the door, have people show IDs, give people free loyalty cards to come into the store so they know who they are, have to self-identify like you do at a Walmart or a Costco? I think we're at the point where we have to start asking those questions as an industry.
Also, safety is not at all, like, the body camera is after the fact. You're not being safer for anybody. Like, that to me is just, that's like somebody trying to like nudge and like beautify this with PR like language. I don't understand how safety is doing anything to prevent. I mean, you're looking for preventative measures again, which is I think what you're talking about and what I was talking about with like, how are you thinking about just making this a better experience overall? And body cameras seem like the last possible thing.
Yeah. If you're really worried about safety, there are so many more lengths you could go to that are easier and more effective.
Yeah. Without a doubt. All right, let's go on to headline number 3, Chris. Tesco has launched a marketplace to become a one-stop shop online. According to Retail Gazette, Tesco has launched an online marketplace allowing customers the ability to shop thousands of third-party products when buying their groceries. It has launched the platform with 9,000 products listed across DIY, garden, homeware, pet care, and toys. While the third-party products will be listed next to Tesco groceries online and on the app, the products will all be fulfilled directly by the supplier. Chris, what are your thoughts on another retailer getting into a marketplace?
Well, and this one isn't quite a chimichanga, but it is an enchilada. Because I love this story, Ann. I really do. I think it is so great. Here you have a grocer saying, you know what, we're going to sell things that are completely unrelated to grocery online. We're just going to do it. And all the traditional retailers out there are thinking, why would I do this? Why would I want to cheapen my brand? Why would I want to sell things that I don't typically sell? Well, because Tesco understands what digital commerce is all about.
Yes.
It's about, 1, exploiting your organic traffic, which they have.
Yep.
2, it's about profiting off the long tail at minimal cost, minimal added cost, which is what a marketplace allows. And 3, and this is the most important thing, it's also about extending the scale and reach of that long tail through retail media, which Tesco has one of the best loyalty programs out there. We had one of their original founding members of their loyalty club card program on our show, Tim Mason, talking about it.
Yep.
So they're going to figure this out. They're going to make it work, and they're going to be very happy with the results at the end of the day. And for that reason, I love it, and I think more retailers should take a look at it.
Yeah, I think you have to be careful with this.
Okay.
I mean,
all right.
Number 1, is there incentive in having more products so that you can have more retail media revenue? Absolutely.
More sales revenue too.
And more sales revenue potentially. Like yes, there's more sales revenue, but how much volume of sales revenue for the back end of this, which nobody is talking about? What happens as you start to get into returns of items? What is happening with shipping and all of the there's a lot more to it that I think at first glance it's like, yes, we get money because we can promote these products and make money for that and make a little cut of the sales of these things. But I think they did this back in 2018. They scrapped it because it was not profitable at all. Granted, you have a few different things going on. You didn't have retail media networks what they were. You didn't have an app. You didn't have AI to help personalize the shopping experience and make better product recommendations. So I do think that we're at a point right now where Tesco does stand to do better at it than it did back in 2018. But I still think that they're going to have to work really hard for me as a customer to say, like, just getting more club card points is enough to make me start shifting purchases from other places onto Tesco. But
well, it depends how much the traffic drives the other revenue too, right, on the side of it. So that's the other key thing here. And the hard part, which you talked about yesterday with me too, the marketplace, everyone sells the same stuff. Right? And so then it becomes a traffic game.
Yep.
And who has the best experience and the best pricing and the best overall sales experience, which includes the returns too, which is a key piece, 100%.
Yeah. And
win that battle.
Yes.
And could Tesco win that in the UK? Yeah, potentially. I mean, they have as much right to it as anyone, I think.
Yeah, I think the last thing I just say in closing is, like, you also have to have a point of view. Because if Tesco starts doing this, if Sainsbury's, if Morrison's, if all these grocers start doing this, which I assume a lot of them will, because that immediate revenue from the media networks and from sales is something that can help them in the short term, I think you're going to start getting a lot of places that look very similar, and that's not going to work.
Well, it depends if it works for you. If similar works for you in the C, it's okay.
I suppose.
And so that's the question, if similar will work for
Let's
Tesco
see.
against the competition.
Let's see.
Yeah. All right, headline 4. The Swedish retailer Ikea is offering jobs to 10 people to staff Roblox and drive real-world recruitment. Okay, let me tell you what the hell that headline just meant.
Yes.
According to Marketing Dive, Ikea is taking the idea of remote work to the virtual world of Roblox with the June 24 launch of a game that includes actual paid positions. The, quote, coworker game mimics the look and feel of a brick-and-mortar Ikea, with players able to visit an on-site bistro as well as use Ikea products to organize the virtual space. The virtual experience was designed to provide younger consumers with working experience and promote career opportunities in real-world Ikea stores where non-linear career journeys and moves across departments are commonplace per the press release's details. The game tries to mimic actual employment as closely as possible, with those chosen for digital positions set to receive the same hourly pay rates as someone working in, for example, Ikea's London store. It should also be noted that this is the very, very first time, man, that a brand has offered paid work on Roblox, inside of Roblox. So my question for you, everywhere we turn, we seem to be hearing about Roblox, especially in our trade show ventures the last few weeks. How significant do you think it is that IKEA is offering 10 paid positions for people to work in their Roblox store in the digital world?
I think this is actually more about awareness and marketing than it is about anything else. I don't think this is about, like, the future of work inside the metaverse necessarily. I think it's
Interesting.
I think it's more about how you are getting more how many applications for this job.
Yeah.
There's like 10 positions open. It's getting people to engage with the brand in a new and creative way, and they're also allowing people to just pretend, like, not get paid and play like IKEA inside the Roblox. And I think that's the bigger part that I'd be paying attention to right now if I were a brand. We heard this morning in the press conference that we were doing with Michelle from Ulta Beauty talking about the engagement that they're seeing. 9 million people are engaging on this platform with their brand. But the most important thing that she said is it's more about an awareness play than it is about a sales play. And I think that's for them. And I think that is something that's worth considering. I think a lot of people put this, they're throwing the baby out with the bathwater, saying the metaverse is gone and that was a stupid investment. This is still a place where some brands should be taking a more close look at, especially, like, to me, Roblox, Chris, it reminds me of, like, this generation's version of a Toys R Us. Like, this is where they're going in. They're spending their money. Like, when you ask kids in that Gen Z, Gen Alpha demographic, like, what do you want? It's Fortnite dollars. It's Roblox money. It's like all of these places where they're engaging, they're spending time, and this is like the next generation's version of a toy store. So there is money to be made in this space, but first and foremost, I think you need to consider that this is an awareness play, and most brands should be evaluating it and then considering whether or not it's right for your brand and your audience.
All right, I agree with a lot of what you said. and I don't know if I disagree with what you said, but I think there are definitely some elements I would add to what you said.
Okay.
So I think the part I agree with on, and yeah, Michelle Paczynski, she was awesome from Ulta this morning talking about this. You got to take it seriously because, it's a good juxtaposition against the Walmart Realm story last week. You and I had a discussion about traffic. The traffic is there.
Yep.
And I was talking about this with someone else this morning too. Like, you shouldn't be equating the Roblox with the metaverse. Like,
no.
They're really two different things. And the traffic, and the key thing here is the traffic is there. How many people did you say? 9 million?
9 million.
From one retailer.
Right.
And we've heard similar numbers from other retailers we've talked to.
Yep.
So it is there. The part I slightly disagree with, and I think you do too, as you talked about at the end, but like, to say it's only awareness play, to me, awareness gets you a bag of donuts. Like, you gotta sell things at the end of the day. And so that's why I think it's important about this story.
Yeah.
Because IKEA is probably seeing those same numbers in terms of the traffic and the awareness it is driving.
Yeah.
And so now they're saying, okay, let's put some metrics to this. Let's actually quantify if putting 10 people, which we can calculate, is worth the investment to drive either more awareness or actual sales through the platform.
Yeah.
So I think that's the really interesting part here, as we look at this story going forward. There's more to this, and IKEA is being the first kind of person in the deep end of the pool to try to figure that out.
Yeah. All right, let's go to headline number 5. Starbucks has launched its own production house called Starbucks Studios. According to Adweek, the studio will, quote, produce original entertainment and tell stories that deepen connections and spark conversations, end quote. Starbucks is launching the studio in partnership with Sugar 23, a media company founded by Oscar-winning producer Michael Sugar that specializes in connecting brands with filmmakers and producing premium branded entertainment. Quote, we're excited to work alongside the incredible Starbucks team and invite all our collaborators in Hollywood and beyond to join us in creating premium entertainment, end quote, Sugar also said. Chris, where do you land on brands and starting studios like this?
This one, Ann, I mean, I might go into a rant on this one. Like, and I have a feeling you're going to disagree with me on this one, but I don't like this at all. Like, I put this in like almost like the hate category in terms of how much distaste I have for this.
Is that because it's Starbucks, or is that because it's just because you liked the Walmart original content, like the ring thing, like you thought that was positive. What's the difference between that and Starbucks for you?
Because Walmart potentially has the like media outlet to play the content in, which I think makes this different.
Okay.
And this, and so, yeah, I mean, that's a good point, but I think I really don't like, to answer your question, I think I really don't like that Starbucks is doing this.
Okay.
Because they listed like Louis Vuitton in the article and Nike doing it too.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily like them doing it either, but I think they have more of a right to claim that there's an actual audience that wants to view content from Nike, that wants to view content from Louis Vuitton if done the right way. I don't know how much Starbucks has a right to win in creating its own unique content via studio.
Those meetups that think of all the connections that are happening inside of a Starbucks. You don't want to like go deep and like learn more about businesses that have been created out of a Starbucks meeting, or
no, I don't. I just feel like this is so distracting. And it also came on top of another article where they've now got another delivery partner, and I'm like, why is Starbucks trying to be everything for everybody? Because I also thought about when we used to come to New York like 6-7 years ago, the first question we'd ask ourselves is, where's the nearest Starbucks, right? And we would get off our asses and go find it, which is what you want from a brand. And now you're spending all this time trying to be everything for everyone, and you're losing your ethos. The best example I could think about of like someone that's still kept that is like In-N-Out Burger. That's still how I feel about In-N-Out Burger.
Okay.
And In-N-Out doesn't allow all this stuff to permeate their business model and change who they are. And so that's why I think net, as I read the tea leaves here, I wonder actually if the CEO is not long for the road here, because I don't feel I understand what he's trying to do cohesively. But anyway, rant over. It wasn't that bad of a rant actually, but like, I don't love it.
Okay, well, the first thing I thought of when I heard this is something that I've been a big believer in for a while now, and that is that brands can no longer just be selling product. I think you have to be thinking about being a content creator, not just brands, but also individuals. Like that's how we engage with people, companies, things. And I think that it's important for them to figure out, again, it's like the theme of this whole podcast, really, like, is this the right move for you? And that's something that we try to do on this show, is like bring you the headlines and then let you decide, like, is this the right move for my brand?
Right.
I do think that there's a place for this. I think that there are brands that do have the connections with like Nike and their athletes, and like they have a position and a story to tell, but you still need to be focused on the content first, the storytelling first, and the brand selling something second. I think this is, again, getting into like, what's that awareness play? How are you doing this in a new way? And so I don't hate the idea of brands starting their own production studios. I think it's just, are you in a place, like you said, to tell the story, to have the right connections in place to be that person that this content is coming from.
Well, and you understand this space better than I do. So, like, my question for you too is like, a lot of what you're saying is not new. Like, brands, retailers have always been in charge of creating their own content, creating their image. They've often been in charge of creating their own content. This feels different though, because this is like, we're going to create a production studio with Hollywood people.
Yep.
To go out and make new things differently than how we've traditionally done it. And that's what I'm having trouble seeing the value. And how do you think about that?
Well, I think with the right creators, the right creatives, this does make sense. Like I talked to my friend Amanda Brinkman. She was the former CMO at Deluxe. They created a show on Hulu called Small Business Revolution. 7 seasons. Like it brought Deluxe back into relevancy because of what they were doing, the stories they were telling. Versus how do you get more checks in the hands of people?
Right.
Like, so I do think that there is a possibility to do that and to do it right, but it's all dependent on what the brand's culture is set up to do, what the mindset and the goals for this type of production studio are.
And is it the most needed thing to do right now too?
Totally.
Right, that's another question
Absolutely.
here. That's kind of where I'm curious about
Starbucks,
too. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was good. That was a good discussion. I love that. All right, let's close out the show with the lightning round.
Lightning round time. All right, Chris.
All right.
Dr. Pepper just passed Pepsi as the number 2 soda in the country. Are you team Pepsi or team Dr. Pepper?
Oh man, first of all, I can't stand Dr. Pepper. Like, I don't like it at all.
What?
I don't like the taste of it. But when I heard this,
are you a Pibb fan, Mr.
No,
Pibb?
no, I don't like that taste at all. I'm not. But when I heard this story, I was like, man, what an indictment against Pepsi. Like, especially Diet Pepsi. When was the last time you heard somebody order a Diet Pepsi?
Not by
Diet
choice.
Pepsi. No.
Not by choice.
Like,
no.
man, that'd be a fun job, actually, like re-enlivening Diet Pepsi. All right, and question 2. Kraft Heinz, the maker of Capri Suns, just announced they're going beyond the pouch.
Okay.
Take that for what you will. For a special 2-pack family size of Capri Sun. But they're not getting rid of it entirely, and they're not getting rid of the pouch. The new bottle will prominently feature a picture of the pouch on its label. Did you drink Capri Sun as a kid? And if so, what Capri Sun memory do you look back on most fondly?
We did not drink Capri Sun as kids.
Wow, really?
No.
Oh, I was down in that, like, gold.
We didn't drink a lot of juice. We didn't have the ability. We were like, you got one soda one weekend day, and that was it.
Really?
And
were you like a milk kid at school?
Yeah, we had like gross milk
that
was old or water to drink, and that was it. But no, we got Tahitian Treat. That was our like special drink when we got
Tahitian Treat. What is Tahitian Treat?
Oh my God, it's so delicious and so sugary.
They still make it?
I don't know. That's a good
I've never heard of that.
Oh, it's like a fruit punch in a can. It's like a fruit punch soda. Tahitian Treat.
Okay.
That was our thing.
The Hawaiian Punch was good too. Remember that?
We didn't get Hawaiian Punch either.
You like put the bottle opener in the can and then just pour out the can.
Oh God, yeah.
All right.
So gross. So gross. All right, Chris. Let's go to question number 3. Extreme weather brought on by climate change is hitting the specific regions that supply some of the world's favorite things to consume: coffee, chocolate, olive oil, and wine. And it's also driving up the prices of those items. I'd like you to rank those items from the first thing you'd give up to the last.
All right.
Coffee, chocolate,
olive oil, and wine. All right. What I put last is easy, chocolate. Because I don't think I told you this. I once went 15 years without eating any chocolate.
Why?
Doctor's orders, just long story short, just couldn't eat it, and so I didn't. And then finally I was like, that's not helping me, so now I eat it all the time. But, so that'd be number 1.
Okay.
Then I think like I could give or take olive oil and wine. Those are kind of like on par for me.
Oh my God.
And then for me, it's coffee though. Like if I had a doctor tell me I had to give up coffee, it might be over. It might be time to put a fork in me, Ann.
Oh my God.
I just love coffee so much.
No wine?
No, I would put coffee before wine. I want coffee more than wine. Do you want? I thought you know.
Yeah, no, coffee would be number 1 for me for sure.
Coffee,
but wine, oh man, I couldn't.
Wine and olive oil, I'm like, I like olive oil on a lot of stuff. I do.
I mean, you could give it up. Like,
You know?
there's many other oils you could put in place
Put
of
some
olive
chicken,
oil.
put on some avocados. It's good stuff, good stuff. All right, headline number 4, Caitlin Clark, or question number 4, lightning round question number 4. Caitlin Clark was left off the U.S. Olympic team. Scale of 1 to 10, 10 being awful. How bad of a decision was this?
I mean, I think that the people that are going to suffer most for this is NBC or whoever has the rights to the film, or the TV rights to filming the Olympics, because she is going to draw a crowd for your advertisers. I mean, whether or not she should play, I think that's not my...
Debatable,
I don't
right?
know. I don't know. But I think really they're going to suffer a loss with viewership because of that. So
Yeah, I would have been like 20 on a scale of 1 to 10 on that one, yeah. All right, happy birthday today. It's getting loud in here to Marv Albert, Finesse Mitchell, and to the man who once famously said, "Do not sell this farm, Ray," the underappreciated Timothy Busfield. And remember, if you can only read or listen to one retail blog in the business, make it OmniTalk, the only retail media outlet run by 2 former executives from a current top 10 U.S. retailer. Our Fast 5 podcast is the quickest, fastest rundown of all the week's top news, and our daily newsletter, the Retail Deli Minute, tells you all you need to know each day to stay on top of your game as a retail executive, and it also regularly features special content that is exclusive to us and that Ann and I take great pride in doing just for you. Thanks as always for listening in. Please remember to like and leave us a review wherever you happen to listen to your podcasts or on YouTube. You can follow us today by simply going to youtube.com/OmniTalk Retail. And so until next week, on behalf of Ann and myself and all of us here at OmniTalk Retail, as always, be careful out there.
the OmniTalk Fast 5 is brought to you in association with the A&M Consumer and Retail Group. The A&M Consumer and Retail Group is a management consulting firm that tackles the most complex challenges and advances its clients, people, and communities toward their maximum potential. CRG brings the experience, tools, and operator-like pragmatism to help retailers and consumer products companies be on the right side of disruption. And Avalara. Avalara makes tax compliance faster, easier, more accurate, and more reliable for 30,000 plus business and government customers in over 90 countries. Avalara leverages 1,200 plus signed partner integrations to power tax calculations, document management, tax return filing, and tax content access. Visit avalara.com to improve your compliance journey. And Miracle. Miracle is the global leader in platform business innovation for e-commerce. Companies like Macy's, Nordstrom, and Kroger use Miracle to build disruptive growth and profitability through marketplace, dropship, and retail media. For more, visit miracle.com. That's MIRAKL.com. And Own It AI. Own It AI helps the world's leading retailers advance their e-commerce shopping experience with AI. To learn more, visit ownit.co. And Sezzle. Sezzle is an innovative buy now, pay later solution that allows shoppers to split purchases into 4 interest-free payments over 6 weeks. To learn more, visit Sezzle.com.